Grimgor is the biggest threat because you're always going to have to deal with him in every single Chaos Dwarf campaign. Doesn't matter if you're Drazov, if you're Zaytan, if you're Astrogoth. You can delay it in certain campaigns or in every campaign, but if you delay it, you're just giving him more time, more power. He's going to throw more armies, and he's going to get a lot more experience. And even at level 1, this guy is one of the best duelists in the game, and he has a Black Orc as well. Right now it's turn 10, and he's rank 10 over here. That should give you an idea. Fighting Grimgor is like fighting a Skaven Legendary Lord, but he is far, far better than a Skaven Legendary Lord. Because the Skaven generally are going to recruit multiple armies, try and ambush you, but throw a bunch of clan rats and Skaven slaves early on, with the exception of their starting units. Grimgor will throw units that are substantially better than Skaven slaves. He has artillery as a starting unit, and Doom Diet for cannibals. He has a Black Orc unit that is virtually unkillable in a fight until you break their leadership. He gets a Regiment to Renown pretty quickly in his campaign, and he'll also get the Wa very quickly. In this case, the Wa got the Black Orc unit, so it's a wonderful situation, I gotta say. Like, it's such an awful situation to deal with that you can't help but laugh as a player. So how do you defeat him? Well, you need to be aggressive. You need to, if you can attack him early on, which Astrogoth and Zaytan can, you want to attack him early on. It's a brutal fight. It's brutal as Kolek, who has a lot more early game power than either Astrogoth and Zaytan do. Because Kolek has a Regiment Renown that's pretty powerful. He's got a Hell Cannon. Zaytan does get artillery, but the Death Shrieker, for all its qualities, is not a Hell Cannon. So, I'm going to have to fight this battle. This is probably the hardest early game battle, I think, in the entire game. I'm not quite sure what could be harder. Like Kazrak's turn 1 battle, if you do decide to take the Wood Elven tree, and even then, I'm not quite certain I would agree with that sentiment. Alright, so over here, I'm going to take my blunderbusses and my hobgoblins, and I'll show you the campaign situations once I win this battle. If I win the battle. Because, I may not. Alright. So we got the Moon Howlers coming for us. Interesting. Well, they're not going to do a lot there. Alright, Grimgor is right now just going to wait. I am going to disable the fire at will for the Hobgoblin sneaky gets, and I'm going to try and find the Black Orc unit. Okay. Now, Astrogoth, by the way, here is rank 9, and Grimgor has forced me to do something that I would never do in any other campaign, which is to spend all my skill points that I've gotten. Because generally, like, you spend skill points until, like, rank 7, then you stop. But not in this campaign. No, sir. Not when dealing with Grimgor. Alright, let me try and get one of the casts off in. There we go. Okay, that was an overcast. Maybe a miscast even. So we got Orc Boys trying to chase them down. That's good. We got also a unit of Orc Boys. Now you can cheese this to a certain extent. Alright, the Orc Boar begins. Eliminating that cavalry is kind of important over here. Now the AI is not completely stupid in battles, so if it sees an isolated corner of your army, it will attack that isolated corner. Okay, we've dealt with his Boar Boys. Over here. Let's do a charge. So you need to split his army. Your units are capable of defeating isolated section, like the Bull Centaur Renders that Astrogoth starts with, the Taurus that he can recruit on turn 1. They can defeat sections of Grimgor's army. They have that ability. Now here's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to pull these guys out. Again, oh, he's got nasty skulkers. Because yay, of course he does. Thankfully the Boltar should be able to handle them with relative ease, but yeah, that is not a great situation. I do want to maintain battlefield superiority though. And I also want to kill those Black Orcs as quickly as possible. Because they're the ones that are gonna have the immortal banner. Alright, the artillery is shooting, but it's not necessarily a big concern for the moment. Let's just go deal with it, because Grimgor's army is moving there. It says a lot about the Legendary Lord when your strategy of dealing with him is to isolate significant portions of his army and try and defeat them. Like that. Alright, the Centaurs here are not going to be able to defeat everything here. Or if they do, they'll take substantial damage. But they've done their job. They've given me a line of sight to Grimgor's artillery position, and I'm gonna go take it out with the Taurus. Hopefully the Taurus survives, but I'm not necessarily too concerned if it doesn't. Now the Centaurs are much faster than anything Grimgor has. Oh, and Grimgor himself is coming for me. He just wants that. He just wants some beef tonight. Holy shit, he's got real beef with me. Okay, Ostrogoth is fighting there. Now this unit here is the leader of the Wa army. So one of the things you can do in your campaign situation, I'm not sure if this still applies. Just bear in mind you could do it. Oh god, that's get out! Holy shit! Don't fight him. You're not gonna win. I'm trying to get it to get out of that situation. Oh, that's the Black Orc himself. Kill him! Go Ostrogoth. Lower his melee defense, lower his melee attack, and just go kill him. Alright. Alright, he's dead, I think. Unless I lost track. There's a lot of things to keep track of on this field. Gotta be grateful for that ward save, by the way, these guys have in Ostrogoth's army. So a lot of Grimgor's army is isolated and strung up. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Get these these archer boys. Okay, pull these guys back to the main line. I need to do as much damage as I can before the main lines engage. Alright, the orc boys there are broken. Pull back the unit there. Try and kill it, but try and kill the artillery, or oh gosh, get out. Just get out. You're not gonna do much. And get the Ostrogoth out of here. Okay, I'm gonna enable firing at will here. All right, so Grimgor himself keeps going after that Taurus. Let's get him. Let's get that Taurus. Oh, get out! Damn it! Damn you, boys! Enough courage for today. You've done your jobs. Alright, throw that at the goblins. I've dealt with the Black Orc units he has in his army. I've kept him away from the main battle. That's the advantage I need. I need Grimgor to be away from the main battle once it's going to be joined. I didn't necessarily plan that, it's just what I decided to do. So over here I can actually attack. Let's do that. Group up. Group 2. and order them to attack. Blunderbuss is going to take that flank. Chaos Dwarf warriors are going to shore up the melee line here. And we're going to give all of these guys, or as many of these guys as we possibly can, precursor weapons going in. And I need to keep as much of that, those ranged units pinned as possible. Or I need to focus fire them. Let's use the spell. I'm gonna send the Dwarf Warrior unit, Chaos Dwarf Warrior unit here. And send Gordos in the center line. Divide and conquer. They're breaking. Keep chasing them down. Give them some buffs there. And over here I'm gonna split my attention and try and get some flanking attacks. I also do want to get more post-battle captives. I do need to eliminate this army ideally, because if I don't eliminate this army, he has got another army. That's the thing about Grimgor, he's always gonna have another army. I could have auto-resolved this battle, but the casualties I would have taken would have been pretty extreme and I would have lost a lot of my units. Where's Gordos? Get out. I'm gonna try and arrange a firing squad for Grimgor. Or a tar pit, a real tar pit. You're next, Tarok. That's what he's saying right there. I'm coming for you. Get him out. Where is Gordos? He's the only one who can survive to a certain extent there. Alright. The artillery has been dealt with. It's over. But I'm not letting him escape. If I let him escape, I'm gonna regret it. Okay. He just doesn't die. He can't die. Don't let them escape. God, don't let them escape. If he escapes, he's just gonna be a higher rank when I face him next time. On the campaign map. I believe that's the case, right? If you don't kill a legendary lord, even if you kill him, he's just gonna get experience. Is he gone? Come on. There we go. Whew, that was rough. Alright. That was the soul of that army. Quite literally. The very angry and green soul of that army. So, here's what you need to know about Grimgor. The AI gets a lot of benefits, right? Growth, casualty replenishment, crucially, upkeep, income, and recruitment capability. Grimgor starts here. No faction is going to oppose him from taking over this entire province. None. Even if you rush over here as quickly as possible as Astrogoth and Zaytan, maybe on a lower difficulty you wouldn't take it by the time you arrive, but on a high difficulty you're certainly going to take it. He starts with a tier 2 settlement. That means he can get nasty skulkers very quickly, and he will get nasty skulkers, or archer boys, all that. He's going to have a lot of money, a lot of units. He'll be able to afford 3 full stacks. Dealing with Grimgor is like dealing with a Skaven legendary lord. Because Skaven, that's what they do. They build a lot of armies and they throw them against you, hurl themselves with clan rat Skaven slaves. Grimgor is worse because he actually has good units. Or much better units than clan rats and Skaven slaves at any rate. Not as many armies, he doesn't have the ambush chance with the attack. So if you're dealing with Skaven, you move slow, but you know you can win the battle. You don't know if you can win the battle against Grimgor. Just look at what I had to do in that entire battle, running around, and I got very lucky that Grimgor was the one that tried to chase down my Tars, and he almost killed that Tars too. So Grimgor is always going to get the entire province. For each settlement he takes that province, he's going to get 1 recruitment capacity. I don't know how many recruitment slots. By default, you have 3 as the greenskins. You had 4. He's got 7. You had the benefits. He obviously gets in campaign. And you had global recruitment, because if you think the AI is not taking advantage of that, whew, you get a powerhouse of a faction that just builds full stacks very quickly. And then every single one of those stacks has a Wa army attached to it, which will also be a full stack of troops. That's what you've got to... Those are your prospects in a campaign. Now, how do you deal with that? You need to be very aggressive. You can't do this as Drazov, but you can do it as Zaytan and Astrogoth. Now, you should still claim your initial province and then move against Grimgor. Now, the problem is Kolic, believe it or not. I think Kolic can be a major issue. Now, in this case, I could take Ice Spear before Kolic, so I could keep recruiting units as I moved here. But if he takes Ice Spear and gives it to his vassal before you, or raises it to the ground, that's going to slow you down. And you need to basically pour every campaign resource you have into building a powerful enough army. Like over here for this army, I sold the initial advanced recruitment building over here. I bought the Taurus first turn, the turn as Astrogoth, then sold the structure over here just so I could get hobgoblins. And also sped the construction up. That's how I got the full stack here of hobgoblins. And I also had to just get all of these skills. Without these skills, I probably wouldn't have won the battle. Like the Flaming Sword gave me a lot of melee ability. The Killing Fire does a lot of damage to units, or some damage to units in range. But it should give you an idea as to the exceptional nature of Grimgor on the campaign map, his potential. It's not... This is a thing some people don't realize. What makes someone powerful, and I've said this again and again and again in videos that I've done on the current live version. Like, this is not a review of the Chaos Dwarves. It's not like, oh, I'm saying like the Chaos Dwarves are like this or all that, anything like that. No. A general situation that I've said again and again. What makes a faction lord powerful is not their ability to maintain one powerful army. The Grimgor certainly has one powerful army. It's their ability to maintain 10 powerful armies. That's what Grimgor can do. Because he will have 10 powerful armies. If you're including the Wa armies in that, right? Or he'll have 3 full powerful armies within the first 10 turns of the game. That is absurdly strong. And each of those armies is actually quite decent. We're not talking Skaven slaves over here. So you really need to be aggressive, you need to be focused. If you're not, here's what will happen if you're not. You're going to be spending the next few dozen turns fighting this guy, slowing down your campaign progress, meaning your empire gets built slowly. And there's other issues as well in the campaign. It's not like Grimgor is the only thing that exists within the realms of the Chaos Dwarves. You've got Azak to the west as Astrogoth. You've got Cathay to the east as Zaytan. You've got, well, let's just look at the campaign map, right? You've got, and it's just going to be slow here over here. Like, you've got Ogres, Gorst, Imric, Tretch, and then you have to deal with Imric, Tretch, Gorst, and the Ogres of the Firing Guards, maybe even Greases, potentially. Then you've got Skaven and Dwarves over here, and chances are quite high that in your campaign, you're going to end up at war with all of them. Depends on how you play the campaign, how weak you are, or what difficulty you're playing on. And that means you're you're dealing with you're basically dealing, if you're playing a Chaos Dwarf campaign, this is what they are. It's an end game crisis for turn 1. That's just my opinion. Now, feel free to disagree with that. Feel free to form your own, but I'm just telling you what's happening. Make your own opinions on that. But this was probably the hardest early game situation I had dealt. I knew it was going to be hard, but it's actually even worse as Zeta and Drazov. Well, Drazov, it depends on how you view the situation. Like, is it easier to deal with an enemy that gets more powerful if you ignore them? Is it easier to like ignore an enemy for like 20 turns and then he shows up with 4 full stacks at your territory, or 5 stacks even? There is a limit to how many armies the AI is willing to recruit. It's not just going to recruit 10 stacks, because it does have some economic limits on every difficulty. But yeah, Grimgor is absurd.